Welcome to Albany, all of you, and welcome especially to those who made two extraordinary journeys here to Albany, and in part to celebrate the anniversary of NYSARC in its 65th year. We're here to celebrate the extraordinary commitment of all New Yorkers to the proposition that people with developmental and other disabilities should be provided with every opportunity to enjoy the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness that is the birthright of every American. Before we begin the more celebratory part of today, one somber note. I'd ask all of you to join with me in a brief moment of silence to remember Virginia Warner, who received services from NYSARC's Madison Cortland chapter, along with 3 other people, including a mother and a small baby. Virginia's life was taken by a tornado that hit the town of Smithfield just a few days ago. So please join with me in a brief moment of silence. Thank you very much. We're lucky to have with us today the Schenectady Pipe Band. They've been competing in contests across the eastern United States and Canada, as well as in Scotland, and they will now play a selection for us today. Music has become an important part of Michelle's life, a talent she has shared with others in the Fulton County chapter and way beyond. Her beautiful voice, skilled guitar playing, and tremendous range allow her to perform rock, blues, country, and pop classics. But today, she will lead us in the singing of our national anthem.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming.
Michelle, thank you so much, and everyone has an opportunity to hear more from her later today. It's now my great pleasure to introduce you to Albany's mayor, Kathy M. Sheehan, who was elected to that position last fall. Sometimes I suspect Mayor Sheehan may be tired of being reminded that although she may be the 75th mayor in Albany's long and distinguished history, she is the first woman to hold that position. Please welcome the mayor of New York State's capital city, Mayor Kathy Sheehan.
Thank you. And it is a privilege to be joined here with fellow elected officials and dignitaries to welcome you to your capital city. This is a beautiful day. We ordered the weather just for you, so I hope you're enjoying it. And I want to promise you that the walk back down the hill is much easier than the walk up the hill. But congratulations on making it up the State Street Hill. I think in order to help fill our budget deficit, we might have T-shirts printed up that say, "I walked the State Street Hill," and see if we can sell some of those. But you did it. I want to thank you for coming to our capital city, because it is so important that we thank those of you here who advocate really tirelessly, advocate on behalf of the folks gathered here today who truly are blessed with special abilities. I know from personal experience, my cousin, 53 years old, we fought very hard to provide him with the ability to live independently in a group home. He suffered brain damage at birth, but he lives independently because of advocates, because people cared, because people demanded more and demanded better for every one of our fellow citizens. So welcome to our capital city. Thank you for what you do, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Mayor Sheehan. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you, on behalf of Governor Andrew Cuomo, the Deputy Secretary to the Governor, who's responsible for advising the Governor on all health policy and related issues. She also is the former Commissioner of the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities, Courtney Burke.
Thank you. Well, I was told it was my job today to, along with the mayor, welcome you to Albany. So welcome and congratulations on your long journey. I also want to congratulate NYSARC on their journey. It's been 1949, many, many years and decades of service by NYSARC, the family members of people who have been involved in NYSARC, and all of the people who work for that organization. It is an original organization because it was formed by families and other people who care about people with developmental disabilities, and they continue to lead a tremendous organization going forward. There's two people I want to acknowledge here today in particular. The first is the Executive Director of NYSARC, Mark Brandt, sitting over here. I think many of you know Mark pretty well. He's been with the organization for several decades, and as you may know, Mark is retiring this December. So I want to take this opportunity to personally thank Mark for all that he has done for this field over the course of his career. It's been a tremendous partnership working with him and the organization over the years. You've been in great hands, and I know you'll be in good hands in the future, so congratulations, Mark, on all your work. I also wanted to acknowledge John Robinson, sitting over here, John. Many of you probably got to know John along the bike trail as you moved from the West. John is somebody who I've had the privilege to know now for at least well over a year. He's an inspiration to me. He is the owner and CEO of Our Ability, which has done a tremendous job in raising awareness about the abilities of people with disabilities. So thank you, John, for all that you've done to raise awareness. And then there's three groups of people who are all out there in the crowd who I'd like to acknowledge. I think first are the families who are here that have traveled all this way and been supportive of NYSARC over the years. Secondly, I'd like to give a shout out to all of the direct support professionals who may be here today. Let's give a hand for them. And of course, last and most importantly, all of the individuals with developmental disabilities who inspire me every day to do the work that I do and to, I think, inspire all of us in our lives about what is possible. So congratulations on your journey. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce somebody that I have known for a good 3+ years, somebody who I worked with very closely for 2.5 years, very smart person, very measured, and I think most importantly, somebody who listens very well to hear the needs of families and has the vision and the inspiration to move things forward. That is the new Acting Commissioner of the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities, Carrie Delaney.
Good afternoon, and thank you. OPWDD is proud to stand with NYSARC today in celebrating abilities and in celebrating its 65th anniversary of providing the highest quality services and supports to people with disabilities and providing exceptional advocacy on behalf of individuals, parents, and families. It's truly impressive to see the spirit and determination of those who have traveled hundreds of miles from the south, from the west, some from the east, by bike, by chair, and by other means to make it to Albany Celebration Day, a journey that is so appropriate as it reflects the determination of so many in the developmental disabilities field, which continually inspires us. While we are here celebrating the contributions of so many parents, families, and individuals in making NYSARC what it is today, I also would like to take a moment to recognize Mark Brandt's service pending his retirement. Mr. Brand, as you all know, has served NYSARC in a leadership capacity for 43 years, including 32 as its executive director. As a strong advocate and proponent for people with developmental disabilities, their parents and families, and as a true leader in our field, we will greatly miss him and appreciate all he's done. Thank you. NYSARC was founded by parents, and parents have always been the backbone of the movement that led to the creation of OPWDD and the expansion of developmental disability services in New York State. Today, NYSARC provides services across New York State as the state's largest provider. While many changes have impacted OPWDD and our service delivery system in New York State in recent years, the one constant must be the voices of individuals, families, parents, advocates, and providers in shaping and in guiding our system for the future. As we continue to move forward with our transformation, we look forward to continuing the strong partnership we have had with NYSARC these many years and to celebrating many more years of their support and their support to individuals and families in living richer lives. Thank you for the opportunity to celebrate with you today, and I do hope you enjoyed today's program.
Thank you very much. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the Deputy Director of the New York State Canal Corporation, who obviously made the passageway available to those of you who are coming from the western part of the state, John Callahan. Is he here? Oh, I'm sorry. There you go.
Thank you very much. In light of the wonderfully warm weather today, I've left my 45-minute prepared text in my jacket over there behind my chair. And instead, we'll simply say how very proud and privileged we feel over the last 2 years to have worked with John and Doug on this incredible journey across the Erie Canal. You know, New York State is founded in audacity, and no example of that is more poignant or more fitting than the Erie Canal. The group of New Yorkers that refused to accept what was judged by conventional wisdom at the time to be possible. And it's a great lesson for us. It's a great contextual environment for this trip and this journey to take place. And it teaches us all so much and inspires us so much. I heard a quote this morning from writer E.B. White that I thought was very appropriate for today. He spoke of waking up each morning and being torn by wanting to improve the world and by wanting to enjoy the world. I hope very much that you spent the last week doing the latter. I know that you spent the last week doing the former. Congratulations and thank you.
And now, in consideration of the folks who've been holding these flags, we're going to have the presentation of the flags at this point. So first, from Albany County, Heath Chaplin. From Allegheny County, Holly Harrington and Marlena Bialy. From the Benevolent Society, Joseph Lumen. From the Bronx, D.C., Patrick Foote. From Broome, Dana Ham. From Cattaraugus, Matt Mitchell. From Cayuga, Christopher Hatch. So thank you all, flag bearers. It's a spectacular image of the diversity and breadth of New York State. We're now going to celebrate the special event that brought many of you here today. On June 30th, two very important journeys began at the same time. One, with the goal of raising awareness of the ability inside of all people, including those with disabilities. John Robinson and Doug Hamlin and their families and supporters, including NYSARC chapters, undertook a 350-mile bike ride along the Erie Canal, starting in Buffalo and ending today in Albany. At the beginning and end of each day, a NYSARC chapter was there to greet them and to celebrate and support their efforts. At each stop, John, Doug, and all the others from their organization, Our Ability, shared their inspirational stories, and as I understand it, plenty of ice cream along the way. At the same time, a second group began a second journey. Together to Albany began. Starting at the Lighthouse in Montauk and ending here today in Albany, The Southeast and Mid-Hudson chapters held bike journeys, traveling with a Together to Albany flag throughout the New York City area, visiting all 5 boroughs, from the Staten Island Ferry to the Brooklyn Bridge to the Bronx Zoo, had celebrations on the Mid-Hudson Bridge, the Bear Mountain Bridge, the Rip Van Winkle Bridge, and had picnics, film festivals, and much more along the way. At the same time, the 65-year journey that NYSARC has traveled by providing services, supports, and advocacy to persons with developmental disabilities is also being celebrated today. So we'll now place the Together to Albany and Journey Along the Erie Canal 2 flags. Placing the Together to Albany flag is Anthony Aliyah from the Suffolk County chapter. And placing the Journey Along the Erie Canal 2 flag is Robert Terry from the Orange County chapter. The NYSARC Inc. organizational flag will now be placed with the help of our drill guards from CBA. So we are honored by the presence of some very important officials and leaders in the state who very much wanted to celebrate this occasion and have shown the patience to allow us to engage in the flag celebration that we just concluded. Let me first introduce to you NYSARC's president, Jack Schopenhauer. Jack is an attorney, a committed NYSARC volunteer, and a parent who knows firsthand what an important role NYSARC can play in providing support to persons with disabilities and to their families. Jack Schopenhauer.
Thank you, Jim. 65 years ago, a group of family members got together in a living room in New York City to talk about what they could do for their children. 65 years later, through the efforts of many, we have achieved one of the largest not-for-profit organizations of its kind, now with over 102,000 members. Today we celebrate your abilities, and we will continue undaunted by the wind, the weather, the rain, and the sun. I want all of you to give yourselves a round of applause because you are all what this organization is about. Almost 200 years ago, an idea was conceived to build a canal across the state of New York that seemed a pipe dream, just as that idea of forming an organization was a pipe dream for people in that living room 65 years ago. The canal project was vast. It seemed insurmountable, and there were great obstacles before the goal of completing the canal system was achieved. And so has been our journey, one of many challenges, but one of many supports as well. And today we celebrate the people at the podium here that have supported the NYSARC cause over the years. The state of New York, the governor's office, the legislature, and not-for-profit organizations that we have partnered with across the state of New York. Particularly today, we celebrate the partnership that we have had with John and Doug and Our Ability. Their ride across New York State, and I have to tell you, I took 2 of the legs of that ride, and to imagine their riding 350 miles to make a point, that point being that you all have abilities that should be explored, is awe-inspiring. And it is my distinct privilege to share the podium and to have ridden these last two legs, which really were inspirational to me. You really can feel the spirit that these men and their group generate. And to look out on the canal, vast as it is, and to think that the job of exploring people with abilities is vast as well, makes it seem very small. We're here because we have achieved. We're here because we will continue to achieve. And with our partners, we will enhance your abilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you Rick Swirat, the Executive Director of the Westchester County ARC, to share with us his comments on behalf of the Together to Albany contingent. Rick.
Thank you. I'm honored and privileged to be able to represent the Journey to Albany chapters. There 12 chapters came together no more than 3 months ago and said we wanted to be able to meet up with John and Doug here in Albany to show that the entire state was part of this process. And over the past 2 weeks, while John and Doug were biking the canal, our chapters starting in Suffolk County, all 12 counties going up through the river and ending up here in Albany, have carried on events, met at the borders, and shared the opportunity to continue the collaboration and family spirit that every NYSARC chapter has had over the 65 years. We had a bike ride in Suffolk. We had a boardwalk in Nassau. We moved through all the boroughs in New York City and continued up the river on continued bike rides, picnics. And today, a number of us joined John and Doug and rode into Albany to be able to show that the state and NYSARC are one family and celebrating together. Thank you.
It's now my honor to introduce the extraordinary person that many people have referenced already today, John Robinson, who will share with you his experience in leading the amazing journey along the Erie Canal.
John gave me the honor of talking first, so I'm going to take it. It doesn't happen every day. 12 days ago, we started this journey, and I can assure you that the weather was not like this every day. We encountered some rain and some wind and a couple of storms and some flat tires, which reminded us, quite honestly, why we do this thing. And it's not necessarily for us; it's for the efforts and the energy of the people around us here today. And we thank you for your inspiration for getting us through the last 12 days. Thank you for that. This kind of thing doesn't come together with just two people giving it a shot. It's a truly a team effort. There are way too many people to thank, and I will forget someone. So in this case, I would ask you to look on the backs of the blue shirts for all of the sponsors and supporters that we had. A couple of specific, thank you, John. John Robinson, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of specific thank yous are in order, though. The New York State Canal Corporation, both last year and this year, has been invaluable in our success. They were helpful this year in planning, from Brian Stratton's group with Sharon Layden and John DeMura and John Joyce and so many other people there that have helped us both with logistics on the trail. Especially this year, they helped us by moving our cars up and down the trail, so that was not a responsibility we had. So a big thank you to the Canal Corporation. Thank you very much. The planning for this came together with NYSARC maybe 8 or 9 months ago, and we can't thank them enough for all the support, not only here, but almost every day along the way. We had an event with NYSARC that was either a send-off event or a welcoming event, and again, it gave us the inspiration to go on and to plow through those days we knew were coming. Lastly, John and I do not do this alone. The Our Ability wives, Pam and Andrea, sitting in the front row here, are the people that do everything that you can't see that helps make us do what we do. So a big thanks to the Our Ability wives. And And I thanked him yesterday, and I'm going to thank him again today. Jason White from NYSARC joined us for the whole trip except today, and was able to fix all 12 of the flat tires that we had along the way. And we were grateful we had none today because we might still be out there. So thank you all. Thank you all for coming. This is a great reception for us. We're proud to be here. And I now give you Mr. John Harbison.
Everybody in green shirts, hello. Hello. Ability. Say ability loudly. Ability. Ability. It's the word that's been going through our head as we've been cycling the Erie Canal for the past 11 days, 364 miles. It's a wonderful word, and it's a word that we all need to remember every single day. There is ability in each and every one of us, and it's something that we cannot lose focus on. And we should all be proud of the ability that we have each and every day. I will echo Doug's, you should applaud that. We all have abilities each and every day. This state is a great beacon for the word ability. Whether it's 400 years ago and the Dutch settled this area, they had ability to see something here. 100 years after that, 150 years after that, the British saw something in this area, and they started to create what would become a great state and a great city just south of us, and an economic mecca for the world in New York City. And then they saw something in the Hudson River and came up the Hudson River. And then very quickly they started to dig a little ditch that left from Albany and connected with Buffalo some 360 miles so that it can improve the economic development and the ability not only of the small towns along upstate New York, but also the Midwest of the United States of America, all because of the Erie Canal. We have ability in each and every one of us. NYSARC shows us the ability within all of us with disabilities each and every day. And we need to remember how this is all connected. That there is ability in each and every one of us towards whatever it is that we want to do. Whether it's bicycling across New York State, whether it's working in our community, whether it's advocating for ourselves or for others, whether it's being an elected official, or whether it's being upstairs behind us and appointed. We have the ability within each and every one of us to advocate for ourselves and for others. So if you're in a green shirt, or you're in a blue shirt, or you're in a yellow shirt, you still have one thing in common, and that is ability. So I want you one more time to say the word as loud as you can so they can hear you around the country. Ability. Thank you very much for listening, everybody.
Let's hear it for Doug and John and for all the rest of you. First, Senator C.C. Kachik from the 46th Senate District, who in her other life is a working farmer in Duanesburg, New York. Senator Kachik, thank you for being here today.
Welcome to the Capitol, everyone. It's great to see so many people here. On behalf of the New York State Senate, I want to say welcome. And on behalf of everyone here in the Capitol District, welcome to Albany. It's great to see you here. Not only are you here to celebrate your abilities, but I see a community. And when a community comes together and raises our voices, we hear you loud and clear. So what a great place to end the journey that Doug and John have been on, and for folks in the lower part of the state to come together and to celebrate this journey. And as you heard, the journey wasn't always easy. There's challenges. We all have challenges. Some of us have more challenges than others, but they showed with perseverance and working together, they're going to make it, and we can celebrate our abilities. And I know on days when it was a little hard to get out on that bike, It helped that there were people cheering and encouraging them and supporting them. To have their families with them the entire way, I think is just awesome. So I want to thank John and Doug, and I got a chance to go with them. They let me ride with them yesterday from Amsterdam to Schenectady. It was awesome to be part of their group, and I couldn't be prouder to be a member of the Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities Committee, because I'm here as your advocate, and I am so proud to see so many of you make it to Albany to advocate and to talk about our abilities. I have a proclamation for NYSARC. I'm not going to read it, but I just want to say it's a way for us to acknowledge your importance, the growth of your organization, and the support of your families, and the voice that you bring to Albany is so important. Keep it up.
Thank you, Senator. Next, from nearby Cohoes, the Assemblyman from the 108th District, Assemblyman John McDonald, who in his other life is a pharmacist. John McDonald.
Well, thank you, Jim, and good afternoon, everybody. And just to make sure we know our positions, go 2 blocks to the right and 2 blocks to the left and go back to the waterfront, and you're in my assembly district. Unfortunately, not right here physically, but thank you. And a special shout out, of course, to those from Albany, Rensselaer, and Saratoga County who are here today, but also all who've come across this great state to celebrate our abilities, as the logo on all of our t-shirts and the banner above us says so eloquently. And to John and Doug, I remember last year on your, this isn't your first rodeo, I remember your main voyage last year when you came in down at the Corning Preserve. And there was a little bit of hesitancy about making that firm commitment to do it again. So I remind you that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But thanks to your insanity this year, you did the same thing over, and we got the same results, which is to demonstrate that there's no limit to what we can accomplish, no matter what our plight, no matter what our role in life is. And to NYSARC, thank you not only for your 65 years of service, but also for the years to follow. Being a member of the Mental Health Committee and Development Disability Committee in the New York State Assembly, and being a member of the Assembly with my colleague, Angela Santa Barbara, who will speak next, we all know too well the challenges that many of our partners face day in and day out. And whereas there are many areas to celebrate successes, thanks to the advocacy of NYSARC, whether it's in regards to housing, voting rights, whether it's in regards to job opportunities, to make sure that discrimination is not anywhere part of the vernacular, we know all too well that there's much more to be done. And we're very pleased to be working with the Governor Cuomo and his staff to help forge better paths ahead. But your presence here today, the insanity exhibited by our friends John and Doug, bring to my mind that our work is not done, but greater roads lie ahead. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you very much, Assemblyman. And from the 111th District in the Amsterdam area, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Angelo Santa Barbara, a professional engineer in his other life. Assemblyman Santa Barbara.
Thank you. It's great to join all of you today. First and foremost, let's hear it for 65 years. Everybody in the green shirts, let's hear it. 65 years of support for our families, for our most vulnerable citizens, and as my colleague, Assemblymember McDonald said, we have been strong advocates in the New York State Assembly, and we will continue to be your voice, continue to fight for what's important for our families. Today represents 2 journeys, as you heard, 2 journeys, and it shows yesterday we kicked off John and Doug in Amsterdam, so let's hear it for Liberty ARC as well, who is here from Amsterdam, Montgomery County. And then we met them in Schenectady. Let's hear it for Schenectady ARC. I know they're here as well. And all the ARCs, thank you. Thank you to all of our partners for being here, for being a part of this. Our sponsors, it's very important. I have a son who was born with autism, so I know both as a legislator and as a parent what these services mean to our communities, to our families. I will continue to be there to fight, to make sure we move forward and not backwards, and we continue to provide those vital services in our communities. I'm proud to be here from the New York State Assembly to recognize your 65 years of services. Jack and members, if you would come up and receive this proclamation from the New York State Assembly recognizing the important work you do. And I'm looking forward to the next 65 years of continuing these vital services for our community. Thank you very much.
And now I'd like to introduce to you Paul Crearini, who is an outreach and communications specialist with the New York State Industries for the Disabled.
Thank you very much. What a gorgeous day to celebrate 65 years, huh? New York State Industries for the Disabled, or NYSAD, is the video sponsor for Journey Along the Erie Canal. At NYSAD, our mission is to provide opportunities for employment, an important focus for all New Yorkers with or without disabilities. Today, we are proud to celebrate NYSARC's 65th anniversary. NYSARC is America's largest nonprofit organization supporting people with intellectual and other developmental disabilities and their families. We commend them and all NYSARC chapters across the state for 65 years of providing advocacy and support for New Yorkers with disabilities. Many NYSARC chapters are also NYSID members, and we truly value our collaboration with them. In conjunction with this important milestone, we salute John Robinson, Doug Hamlin, and their families for raising awareness of accessible tourism in our state, yet another aspect of a truly inclusive life. As the journey made its way across New York State, numerous advocacy groups and organizations supporting the rights of people with disabilities joined John and Doug for portions of their journey. John and Doug used adaptive bicycles and were accompanied by their immediate and extended families, NYSARC chapters, community members, cycling enthusiasts, and New Yorkers of all abilities. For the journey, NYSID partnered with John and Doug's company, Our Ability, along with NYSARC, the New York State Canal Corporation, the Disability Education Forum of New York, and the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor. I'd like to thank all partners and sponsors of the journey for contributing to this amazing endeavor. And today, as John, Doug, and their entourage complete their ambitious journey, we commend them for their inspirational example of the human spirit. John and Doug's undeniable determination and spirit are truly an inspiration to all of us in the NYSARC and NYSID families. We also congratulate NYSARC for 65 years of supporting New Yorkers with disabilities and their families. Thank you very much, and thank you for being a part of today's festivities.
Thank you. All right, just one final introduction, and it's for the executive director of NYSARC, who's been referenced earlier. You know, I think Mark's job is sort of been symbolized today. When you're the executive director of NYSARC, every once in a while, a flag here or there gets blown down. There's a challenge that has to be faced. And NYSARC, every time that happens, figures out a way to get those flags back up standing and to move forward. So after knowing Mark, after meeting him in this building behind us, I think, roughly 30 years ago, Mark has devoted his entire professional life to advocating for this community, for persons with developmental disabilities. And while there's a rumor that Mark may be retiring, there's never been anything particularly retiring about Mark Brandt. Mark Brandt, the executive director.
Well, thank you, Jim. First of all, I really want to thank Courtney Burke and Carrie Delaney for their time and being here and for all that they do for us, to NYSID, to the Canal Corporation, to our senators and assembly persons, and certainly to John Robinson and to Doug Hamlin, who inspire an organization that truly doesn't need any inspiration. So thank you all for your help and assistance. Now let me see, I'm the last speaker, so the only thing between me and between me and lunch is if I hurry up and speak. For 65 years, we have been a phenomenal organization started by and still governed by families. I want you to write this date down, 2079. 65 years from now, we're all going to come back here. We're all going to have our green, yellow, and blue shirts, and we're all going to celebrate another 65 years of success. This has been a phenomenal journey. And the truth of the matter is, with Doug and with John, the inspiration continues. But as everybody here knows, while we've accomplished a lot in the first 65 years, we have a tremendous amount more to accomplish. All that being said, I want to wish all of NYSARC a happy 65th anniversary, and thank you all for coming.